Welcome there, you personal trainer. Thank you so much for checking out the Body Design University Personal Trainer Talk with Doug and Corey. We are here answering your questions every Wednesday at 2 p.m. And Mr. Blake, I don't know. I think it's Wednesday. I think it's 2 p.m.
And it's apparently, as my clock says, yes, it's 2 p.m. So we are ready to go. Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for being a part of this. We've got a few really good questions today. And we've got a question coming in regards to the business of selling sessions, packages versus monthly fees. And that's coming up to us from Paul from San Diego. We've got another question coming in about doing dumbbell curls and how the wrist should be positioned and the peak of your biceps. And this is great stuff. And lastly, we've got a question about honey versus sugar, and how we would recommend and what tips we would give to our clients as personal trainers. So we're going to knock out those in this talk today. We hope you join us for all of them. Just remember, whether you're a new trainer or an experienced trainer, we hope to share information with you every week that helps you get it to the next level. If you have a question, you can always email it to info@bodydesignu.com, or even better, if you're watching this video and you have any question, if it has to do with personal training, business or science, type it below in the comments and we will answer that question on the next talk. Be sure to include your name. Well, your name's going to be on the post likely, unless you're using a company page. Include your name, your city and state in the comment, and we'll add it to our roster. We've got a big roster of questions coming in from all over. So, Mr. Blake, are you ready to get started?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me, what do we got?
I think we're going to start off with this question from Paul from San Diego. He asks, do you recommend selling session packages or monthly fees, no matter how many sessions my clients complete? I'm assuming that's whatever completes during the month. So session packages or just a monthly fee? What say you?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And you know what? I'm still very surprised. And I know there's a lot of big companies that still sell sessions and private trainers that do it. But, we stopped doing sessions literally 15 years ago, a long time ago. We really did. But it's still being done, but it's not the most efficient. It's not the most efficient for you, and it's not the most efficient for your client. And here's why. Just think of it this way. If I sell you as a personal trainer my services for, let's just say, 8 sessions twice a week, right? At the end of the 8 sessions, I've got to re-up you. That means that I've got to have a conversation, whether it be a phone call, a text message, an email. I've got to do something every 8 sessions and likely every month, to re-up you as a client, almost like renew your commitment. And I also going to remind you every month that you're paying me a good amount of money. Like, there's a lot of things to it that are just not efficient. So we have always recommended setting up a membership type training program where the client agrees to training with you, say, for example, 8 times a month. So it's the same. And that on the 1st or the 15th or the 7th or the 8th or whatever day that they enroll, we recommend doing it on the calendar day, okay, that they enroll 30 days from that day. So if they come in today, it's the 6th. If they came in today, in 30 days from today, they're going to get billed again on the 6th. On the 6th of every month, they're going to get billed for 8 sessions, whether they use those sessions or not. And you could have 2 models where you use it or lose it. And then the other model, if you're high ticket, high price training, then the client can make those up if they miss, as long as they give 24-hour notice in a month. And so then each month, you're not having a conversation about their membership, right? So you're not having to send an email, text, or phone call about, hey, your sessions are up. I just do you want to use the same card or need to process this or whatever the case is? That conversation is gone. You have one conversation at the very beginning that's a little bit longer because you're explaining to them that they're going to commit to a monthly. They're going to give you their payment card. They're going to sign an agreement. It's got to be in writing that they're going to be billed on the monthly basis on the state. But then you avoid that entire conversation. And the only time that you're going to talk to them about billing is either when they have to update their credit card, which is not that often. Credit card gets declined, which is again, not that often. Three, that, they've built up so many sessions that they want to use those before they're billed again. And the business practice that we recommend is that the client is able to, once they build up a month's worth of sessions, they can skip a month's billing to use those sessions. That's really it. So maybe a couple times during the entire time you train with them, some clients not at all, and they're just going to be billing monthly. So you don't have to have that conversation. The second thing is that, sure, they're going to see it on their statement. They know that they're paying you every month, but it's not this reminder and it's not this pressure of you feeling like you've got to build value and resell them on the training. So I think that's a great question. And for trainers out there that are selling these little packages, I'd recommend stopping like immediately. Just think of it this way too. When you have 5 clients, not a big deal. But most trainers that want to have a thriving business, they need more than 20, 25 clients. So imagine when you're addressing 5 clients, not a big deal, selling packages, right? Do that with 25 clients and you find yourself becoming a bill collector. So that's
chasing them down is just not, it's not a lot of fun.
No,
you got to do it. And you got to do it every,
efficient.
because they're going to run through their 8 sessions, 10 sessions, and it's going to be on Friday. The next person is going to be next Tuesday. And it's like every day you're thinking about, well, who do I have to talk to now versus, like you're saying, the logistics of a monthly, logistically, operationally. That switch over can be.
And it's better for them.
Huge, yeah.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's better for them. Purchasing for some people is very stressful, like just spending money for any reason whatsoever. Reduce it. Like why, just make it on an auto payment. So it's real simple. You don't even have to have that conversation every month. And so we highly recommend. That's a great question. Thanks, Paul. Renewing. And there's a lot to this, but that's a great question.
But I think, like you say, is that because there are, I've had some clients, boy, they literally are like, now, wait a minute, I've got 3.7 sessions, whatever the case is. They're the ones that want to know that, look, don't worry. I know you missed 3 times this month. That will accrue over month to month. And when you do get to whatever that session number was, then like you said, yes, we'll take a month off. You won't get billed and we'll start the billing back again. But the accrual, Paul, the accrual of sessions that they miss, it's much better in arrears to deal with that after they've accrued.
That's right.
whatever the number is. But yeah,
that's right.
But it is a good question.
And for the new trainers, again, their mindset is like, what's the big deal? I just have a few clients. Well, you want to start your business the right way. And because you don't want to have to backpedal and go, just start it this way. So if you're not already doing it, switch over. If you're getting ready to start it this way. I'm telling you, you will see your efficiency increase significantly. So great question. All right. So I see the next one here. Does twisting the wrist during the bicep, oh my gosh, this is taking me back. Okay. Does twisting the wrist during dumbbell curls really build the peak of your biceps? This question is coming to us from Lori, which is really kind of cool. Lori is asking us from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Doug, twisting the wrist.
Wow. What year is this?
Bigger peak. Bigger peak.
What year are we living in? No.
I won't get a bigger peak with a little twist at the top.
Like we always say, if you don't have a nice whatever peak on your bicep, you picked the wrong parents. At the end of the day, issues related to muscle morphology, because that's what that is. It's called morphology, or the way it appears, right? So the way that muscle appears, or how it grows and hypertrophies in this situation is not related to anything you do technique wise. That's just the reality of it. It's now, again, I know Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, I know. Of course. He's like, no, you got to do all this.
Yeah.
Did you know that Arnold, they had those the dumbbells when you can actually put the little plates on them and make the dumbbells. And I used to have those.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you can he used to, this is one of his tips he used to use is he would put more weight on the inside part of the dumbbell to make it heavier to supinate his wrist.
You're kidding me.
I am not kidding you. Look at it. Whoever's watching is
that must have been the reason why
it's brilliant.
He won the Olympia.
And yet take a look at Arnold doing a front double bicep. And what you are going to know or notice is what we call genetics, which is that his left, why do I know this? Don't ask me why I know this, but on his left arm, he has a very pronounced peak to the bicep, meaning that the tendon attachment is further enough up on the bicep area to where you can see this tremendous delineation. But then when you look at his right bicep, the tendon attachment is much further down. And this is one of the reasons why we have a quote peak on the bicep is the length of the insertion tendon into the radius of the bicep. So the idea is that yes, the bicep does supinate the wrist, but supinating the wrist more or less is not going to have any effect on the physical shape of the bicep. That's a genetic predisposition.
Meaning the peak, but not necessarily in growing the bicep, right? I mean, that twist is not going to grow the bicep more, but just to make sure everyone's
it's a negligible change in the total stress that's being placed on the bicep. So
yeah. And I think most people these little things that are so genetically related, right? People want to kind of defy that with some special exercise or, and I think, I remember doing I feel like 1 million glute kickbacks with some of my clients, working on the glutes, and some of the clients, it was just totally different than others. And, so
it doesn't look the reality is that you can build, obviously your biceps can hypertrophy. There's not an issue with that. But the question is now we look at it from even a safety perspective. And what, from a biomechanical perspective, when you're training and imposing loads on a muscle that works over a single joint, it's not the best idea to be moving other joints while you're moving this joint. So this idea, and you see it all the time with people bench pressing, and then they turn and they do all these twisting and turns. And what you don't realize is that physiologically you are inordinately stressing those accessory joints. And so by turning and supinating with resistance, there are potential issues related to overworking that particular joint, or even at the wrist. I'm not saying that's going to necessarily happen, but anytime you start messing around,
but it could be, right? It could be harmful.
It could be. And if I'm using a 5 pound
just grow your
dumbbell,
biceps. Just grow your biceps. Basically, don't try to create a peak like that.
And don't be squeezing up at the top and all this.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Next one, we got a great question regarding nutrition from Monica Abrams in our hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. I've heard honey, hopefully it's from Georgia, is better than regular sugar. What's your thoughts? Oh, great question. So, Doug, she's basically saying she's heard honey is better than using regular sugar. What do you think?
Well, I mean, it depends on what you mean by better. Sugar, right? And honey is
better for you.
I always err on the side of no, because there's only really one difference between any honey, by the way, and regular table sugar, which is pure sucrose. And that is that honey has a couple of extra little things in there, vitamins and some nutrients that are, again, negligible from a nutritional perspective, other than flavor. And by the way, I use honey. I make this onion, like I cook down onions, right? I cook them down, right? I cook them for like hours, and I put a little bit of honey in there, right? And when you cook it down and it sweetens it up, if you use Vidalia onions, right. If I put plain sugar in there, I lose some of the flavor. But from a nutritional perspective, no, it's negligible. Because again, honey is, I forgot the percentage, 65, 70% sucrose with some glucose in there as well. So,
So, a lot of people will, they'll literally focus on these little things that are, like you said, negligible as far as how much they make an impact, but they read something or they watch a video from a doctor or they see a post on a blog that says use honey, right? And here are all the reasons why. And they do that because there might be some increased benefit, let's say, right?
Right.
Even if it's negligible. They want those little negligible things to add up to something bigger. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? But the challenge is I think, Doug, what you and I have experienced is that with a lot of clients, it's when they do that, but then miss the big markers. They miss the big markers, like they're not getting in the calories, or they're taking in too much sugar or too little, or they're not getting in the protein or the complex carbs or the essential fatty acids that make a huge difference. But they're like, all these little things that they might be doing throughout the day, the drinking the lemonade, drinking the cayenne, all these things,
wait, you don't,
dude, I don't know. I don't, but you see what I'm saying? Like, so
by the way, that's what led to using, the nectar, the agave. That's what led to, and that's a disaster. Agave nectar is a disaster because it's like 80, 90% fructose. So, but the idea that it's quote natural.
Yeah.
And I remember saying something and somebody reposted something. I said, well, cyanide is natural. You find it in apple seeds. I think it was one of our live course students.
Right.
He reposted it. It's like, yeah. So but there it is. I mean, so is honey better than, look, that's the creation of a straw man argument, which is that you've given me two choices and both of those choices are not good. It's not either or, it's those two out of the way. And then you focus on other things. But of course, if you have to use one or the other, I guess I would probably go with honey just because it tastes a little bit better. But again, that's a straw man argument. No, either one of them are going to create at certain levels, right? I mean, a little dip of honey ain't going to do anything, but it's going to have a profound effect on insulin, generally on insulin secretion. Most people just don't use a whole lot, right? They put maybe a tablespoon in their tea or something, or but it's a paradigm. It's a way of thinking. See, it's a way of thinking, and we try to change the entirety of that paradigm, which is.
I tell you what. Why don't we do this? Why don't we just mention briefly some of the alternatives that are better and do change the dial and aren't negligible? Like, so for honey and sugar, right? Even if they're both organic, right? Very small changes, but there's some other sweeteners that do and do play a much bigger.
Right, stevia is going to be generally your go-to. That's the recommendation. So that's going to have a much more beneficial effect if you're going to use it on a regular basis. And
why? Tell them why.
Well, because stevia does not have that effect on your blood sugar levels and insulin secretion. So stevia is a natural product made from the leaves of a specific plant. So it has this sweetness element to it. It has a flavor profile that may be a little bit off-putting for some folks. Joy hates. She's like, I ain't using that stevia. Right? But me personally, I get used to it. I just don't use a whole lot of it. See, I'd rather have somebody shift away from sweeteners as a normal part of their daily routine, but like you use it in your coffee.
Yeah, I do.
It's
I enjoy the little stevia droppers.
It's a game changer for things related to that type of usage for sure.
Yeah.
And look, there are other sweeteners out there, but that are probably not recommended.
Yeah. But that's a great question. I hear this often, and clients ask that, should I take in honey or should I take in sugar? And that's, yes, there's some added nutrients and a little bit of benefit, but not negligible, and a good sweetener, stevia. So, and that's why. Guys, thank you so much. We appreciate your question. So again, to recap, you're doing monthly versus session packages. Okay. Stop twisting at the top for the peak of the bicep curls. And last but not least, honey is better than sugar. Not going to make a big difference. If you're going to make an alternative, look at stevia. And thank you so much for tuning in. Just remember, every week, if you have a question, post it below. Doug and I will jump on it. Doesn't matter if it's business, advanced, beginner, or any type of science, nutrition or exercise. We're here for you. Doug, any last words for him?
Yeah, I would just say, look, just think about sweeteners as a very small part of your nutritional intake. And we are more than happy to help you answer any of those other questions you have.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much again for tuning in. We will see you next Wednesday. Don't forget, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and post your comments below. Thank you so much. See you next time.